My name is Dean Baratta. I'm the Bureau Chief of the Analysis Bureau here at New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness. ISIS has really broken the mold when it comes to being able to inspire people to conduct terrorist attacks on their behalf. Al-Qaeda's been attempting to do that since probably 2009 and has had limited success. ISIS, however, really is in a league of their own. In 2015, there were over 70 arrests of people just in the United States who were either going to provide material support, attempt to travel to Iraq or Syria to join ISIS, or to actually conduct attacks in the U.S. When thinking about why ISIS has been so successful in encouraging sympathizers and getting people to act on their behalf, I think it's important to know a couple things. First, ISIS is the first group to actually hold territory in the name of an Islamic State. And that really seems to resonate a great deal with the sympathizers that have acted on their behalf. The second is, if you look apart from ISIS at the global jihadi movement, they haven't had a particularly good decade since 2001. It's been more than 10 years since they've been able to conduct a spectacular attack in the West. And that would be the London bombings in 2005. Their leadership has been decimated by military actions all around the world, including Osama bin Laden's death in 2011. So by the time the Islamic State declared their caliphate in 2014, the global jihadi movement that targeted the US and the West had taken a beating for a long period of time. So ISIS comes along, they show a great deal of momentum, and people want to back a winner. That's been a huge driver for recruitment and sympathy for them. Since ISIS declared the existence of the caliphate in June of 2014, they've been in competition with Al-Qaeda for sort of the leader of the global ideology that we call Salafi jihadism. It's an extremist form of Islam. So at first, the competition has been primarily one of propaganda. But of particular concern to us and other people in the counterterrorism field is that of something called outbidding. And what outbidding is as various groups are competing for sort of the same group of followers, the concern is that they will each get more and more violent, each try to do more and more spectacular attacks. So one example of that might be the attacks we saw in Paris in 2015, where Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, an Al-Qaeda affiliate, conducted attacks against the magazine Charlie Hebdo in Paris. And then in November of 2015, ISIS conducted a number of very complex attacks in the same city.
Don't mistake what these attacks represent. This is not a clash of civilizations. These terrorists have declared war against all civilization.
We can't say there was a direct correlation there, but would be a very good example of outbidding. And in a way, that's not just a message to the West, but it's a message to other potential sympathizers, other potential recruits, and even rivals to say, we can do what you've done, but we can do it better. When trying to forecast what the future might hold for ISIS or Al-Qaeda, I think there's a couple things to consider. The first is the very factors that make ISIS such a powerhouse when it comes to recruiting and developing sympathizers now can lead to their downfall later. They are currently experiencing some real pressure on the ground in Syria and Iraq. They've lost somewhere between 25 and 40% of their territory over the past year. And they look to be facing increased military pressure from a number of fronts over the next year. So if they begin losing, and losing big, it's going to be harder to sustain that sense of inevitability and success that they were able to cultivate over the last, say, 18 months. Al-Qaeda continues to struggle, and where they used to have that very hierarchical structure where they could command their affiliates, one of the concerns for them that they may have is that their affiliates are now getting a taste of freedom and getting used to operating without having to report to a centralized head. As they get that freedom, they may be less willing to get back into the box and go under a tight command and control structure. So I think both groups are going to face some real challenges over the next couple of years.